This whole process from beginning to end took less than an hour to make homemade hamburger buns.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to our Creation Homestead. My name is Jason. Angela Kay's over here. You're going to hear from her in just a moment. But today, I enjoy a nice, juicy cheeseburger. Alright, that's just who I am. I do love a good, delicious cheeseburger. But hamburger buns are one of those things that have a bunch of jacked up ingredients in them because of the type of flour they use and things they use to preserve them and whatnot. Because you think about it, if you make homemade bread, it doesn't last for 2 weeks at a time. But yet you can get these hamburger buns and they're good for 2 weeks. Why is that? That's a good question. But Angela Kay decided she's going to make her own hamburger buns. And I bet they're going to be better than the ones you buy in the store. So she's going to tell you how to get it done, okay?
These are going to be a quick version of hamburger buns. They're not going to take a long rise. They're going to be a very short rise. So... and they're also not going to be the soft, squishy stuff that just kind of squishes when you eat it. It's going to be a little more dense, a little more firm, which is good for Jason because he's a notorious sandwich squeezer.
I'm a sandwich squeezer. I just go.
So in this bowl, we have a cup of warm water plus about 2 tablespoons, basically a cup plus a splash, because you need a little extra of warm water. This is between 110 and 115 degrees. You guys know I've told you before, I keep my yeast frozen. So I usually err on the side of around 115, between 112 and 115, because it needs that extra heat to wake it up. So because we are taking a long rise thing and making it a short rise thing, even though I'm using instant yeast, I'm going to bloom it because that'll give it a little jump start. You also need to use a little extra yeast because of that. So I'm using 1.5 tablespoons of instant yeast.
And this is SAF yeast?
Yes.
Okay, should we link that?
Yes, we'll link that below.
Okay.
And I have 1/4 cup of sugar here. But you don't want to put all of that in right now with the blooming. You just want to put about half of that. It's just enough to wake it up, because sugar will wake your yeast up. Even though instant yeast really technically doesn't need to be woke up, this just gives it a little jump start when you're making something that is normally a slow rise into a quick rise. Just like I told you with the cinnamon roll recipe, if you saw that. If not, you need to go watch it.
It's like coffee in the morning.
Yeah, kind of.
Makes you get up faster.
So now you want to leave this to bloom for about 5 minutes. As you can see, it's gotten all foamy on top. And that means that it's alive.
It's alive!
So to that, we are going to add 1/3 cup of any neutral flavored oil. You guys know we use avocado oil. And you want to add that into your mixture. And we are going to add 1 large beaten egg. You want to beat it really good. And you want to make sure that egg is isn't so cold, because you don't want it to kill your yeast once you've woke it up. And you want to work really quickly and stir that in so your egg does not curdle, because you got to remember your water is warm. The egg is just to add some richness to the hamburger buns, and we're going to add the rest of our 1/4 cup of sugar, because you know hamburger buns always have that little bit of sweetness on the back end. So over here we have 3 cups of flour, and then we have an extra 1/2 cup over here. We may or may not need it. It depends on what our dough tells us when it talks to us. And we have 1 teaspoon of salt. Jason's got a funny look on his face.
Well, your dough's talking to you. You might have more problems than you realize.
So we're gonna dump in the 3 cups of flour and the 1 teaspoon of salt. And you're just going to start mixing that in. And it will all start coming together. And we'll see if it starts making a dough. If not, we'll start adding more flour. Basically, it depends on the environment in your house and also the weather that day, how much flour it's going to take. If you have a lot of humidity or moisture in the air, it will take more flour. If you have a very dry environment, it will take less flour.
So your flour has to talk to you and tell you how.
No, your dough has to talk to you.
Your dough has to talk to you. My bad.
Flour doesn't talk.
What was I thinking?
Dough talks. I mean, you saw the yeast. It's alive.
It's true.
It's a living organism. Okay, as you can see, your dough is very sticky. So we're going to need a little bit more flour. So I'm going to start by dumping probably about 2 tablespoons of that. You want to go slow. Don't dump all of that in because you may not need all of it. And then you're going to end up with dry hamburger buns. And nobody likes dry hamburger buns. And as you can see, it's still pretty sticky. So we're going to add a little bit more. We're going to add about 2 more tablespoons. And at this point, I'm going to use my favorite tools. The ones God put at the end of my wrist. That way I can feel the dough and feel how moist or how dry it is. Because I can better tell how it's talking to me if I can feel it. And as you can tell, it's starting to come together, because just like any bread dough, you want it to clean your bowl. If it's not cleaning your bowl, if it's like this, where it's sticky, you need more flour. Your dough's telling you, hey, I'm still hungry. So you want to add a couple more tablespoons of flour. And you want it to clean your bowl.
When you say clean the bowl, you mean just start taking everything off the sides and
Yes.
picking everything up?
Yes. It will start picking everything up. Because of the egg, your dough may be a little tacky, but you don't want it to be so sticky that when you work with it, it leaves behind dough on your fingers, which it's still doing.
Still doing. Sure.
See?
Yep.
Still leaving behind dough. So now we will add about a tablespoon, because you may or may not need 2 tablespoons at this point, because it's starting to clean the bowl, but it's still sticky. Now, it's taking a little bit more flour for us because we have had some snow, and today it is starting to melt.
Yep, there's moisture in the air.
So there's a lot of moisture in the air here.
You see the roads and steam coming up off the moisture, steam coming up off the roads, so it's putting moisture into the air, so you can see it. You can see it coming like that.
See, it's starting to clean, but see, it's still, when I go like that, it's still sticking.
Yep.
So you want a little bit more. So I'm going to do another tablespoon. Okay, so now you want to work that in. And this will probably be it.
Yeah, it's looking good.
It's starting to look really good now. And this is one of those that no matter what anybody tells you about flouring your surface, with this, you don't want to flour your surface. You want to oil your surface when you start to knead. You can do this in a KitchenAid. And I was wrong.
A little
See,
bit more?
it's still telling me it's hungry.
Wow. A little bit more.
So we're going to add about a half a tablespoon or so, because I'm not sure it needs a full tablespoon. It's still pretty sticky, which, as you can see, it's starting to pick up all that flour now. And it is starting to clean the bowl more than it was before. Okay, now let's get it out on our surface and see how it reacts. And see, it's still kind of sticky. So I'm gonna work in just a tad more flour into it here on the surface. And then after that, we will do oil on our surface. And see, now it's starting to come together really well without being sticky. It just needed that last little bit just because we have so much moisture in our air right now.
So if you're in the deep south, you're going to be doing that. If you're out west, maybe not.
Yes.
You know, in the plains at this point in time of the year, maybe not, depends on your smoke.
I'm just going to add just a little spot of oil.
Yep.
You just want to add a light sheen of oil.
This is a clean service, pre-cleaned service.
Yes, pre-cleaned. Now we are going to start kneading it. That oil is going to keep it from sticking and not going to add too much flour to make your hamburger buns dry. Remember, I told you when you knead, fold over, push away from you. Turn, fold over, push away from you. And you keep kneading this until you get a nice smooth elastic ball of dough. It should take about 3 to 5 minutes. I'll show you what it looks like when it's ready. Okay, this has took about 5 minutes or so. And see, you can tell it's elastic because when you push on it, it bounces back.
Hard to see it, but on the camera, but I see it.
It does bounce back.
Yeah, I see it.
So now in order to cut them into buns, because you're going to go ahead and cut them into buns here, you are going to flour your surface. That way they don't stick to your surface because this does have eggs and because it does have an egg and oil in it. It is going to be a tacky dough.
Yeah.
Not sticky, but
right.
tacky.
Right.
So now you're going to pat it out into a nice round. And now you want to take a knife. You want to cut that circle in half. And you want to cut each half in half. So now you've made quarters because this makes 8 hamburger buns. Now you want to cut each one of those triangles into half. And you want to take your dough, and like I said, it's still going to be a little tacky because it's just the nature of the dough. It's a very soft dough. You want to take it, pull back on all 4 sides and tuck behind. And see, now you'll turn it over and see you've got all those ends pulled in there. You'll squeeze them together like you're squishing its mouth up. Like you're squishing your kid's mouth to make them make fish lips.
Why would you do that?
Parents make their kids make fish lips.
Why?
Because it's cute.
It's not. It's annoying. I'd have been swinging.
So now you want to cup your hand like this and work it around the circle to make it into a circle. And see, now you've got a nice little circle. Now, you want to put them on a parchment paper lined cookie sheet. You're going to do that with the rest of your 8 balls of dough. And I'll show you again. Pull and tuck under. Pull, tuck under. Pull, tuck under. Now squish its face up.
This thing's mean.
Now, cup your hand and roll it into a ball. See? Now you get a perfect little ball.
Alright.
Okay, we have 8 beautiful balls of dough here. Now, you want to cover them with either some plastic wrap or a kitchen towel. And you want to leave them to rest and to rise just a little bit for about 20 minutes. Are you ready for the unveiling?
Let's look at them and see. Ooh, they're bigger. See, they're pushed together.
Yes. We'll separate those out just a little bit. Although they will bake together.
It's okay, that's what knives are for. They'll pull apart.
Yep. They'll pull apart.
I mean, they're stuck together in the hamburger bun package anyways, right?
Yep.
Good point, Jason. Thank you.
Do you often talk to yourself?
All the time.
Okay. Now we're going to do an egg wash on them to make them nice and shiny.
Better than soap wash. Don't wash my hamburger buns in soap.
And what we have in here is 1 egg yolk and about a tablespoon of water. And we're just going to brush the tops of all 8 of the buns. Now, when you put these for the 20-minute rise, you want to preheat your oven to 425 degrees. Now, from here, this is your option. You can leave them plain, or you can make sesame seed buns. Or if you have everything bagel seasoning, you could even do that. You can do whatever you want on top of these. I'm going to do some sesame seed buns. So you just want to sprinkle just a little bit of sesame seeds on top of each one. And then when you get them all sprinkled up, forgot this dude over here.
Skipped one.
He wouldn't get no love. He wouldn't get no love, so we have to come back and give him some love.
So once you get them sprinkled, put them in the oven.
You put them in your 425 degree oven. And this does not bake for very long at all. These beauties are out of the oven.
Look at that. Man, they smell amazing too.
They smell so good. And they took about 10 to 15 minutes. That's all they took. This whole process from beginning to end took less than an hour to make homemade hamburger buns. Now you're going to know when they're done. They'll get nice and golden brown like this on top because of the egg wash. Look at that beautiful brown bottom.
Nice.
When you tap it, it'll sound hollow.
That's cool.
And that's how you know that they're done.
No, that's not gonna be crunchy though, right? Or
The
is
bottom?
it? Yeah.
It might be a little, but
Okay.
not like...
But like, it's gonna be good though. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't make buns of steel here, folks. Sorry, I had to do one joke.
Now you want to let them completely cool before you cut them in half. You want to let them be completely
That's
cool.
awesome. I'm excited.
And you can also freeze these.
Yep.
Once they are completely cool, you can freeze them.
Freeze them. You can freeze the dough if you want to.
Yes.
If you wanted to.
But you can also just make extra batches of these and
Yeah.
freeze the buns as
Which
well,
is-
just
to
for
me, it's
future use.
That's a better option. I agree.
Yes. The hamburger buns are all cool now. And as they've cooled, that bottom that seemed like it was going to be crunchy has gotten soft. And see, they're just gorgeous.
They have a nice structure to them.
Now I'm going
Good
to
structure.
cut one open and show you what they look like inside. I'm using a serrated bread knife for this. You'll get the cleanest cut if you do that. If you use a bread knife. But you can use just any knife.
Nice. That's beautiful. That's awesome.
It's just a beautiful texture hamburger bun.
Very good. Very good.
And you saw how simple that was. Took less than an hour from start to finish.
Okay, I made me a big old sloppy burger. See, a little ketchup running out. I just want to see what this bun tastes like, honestly. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Best hamburger bun ever. It's been real with you. So good. Good structure, because look, I'm a squeezer. You see my hands? I squeeze. I press in my thumbs real hard. And that bun can hold up to it. Absolutely amazing. Wonderful, wonderful hamburger bun. Angela K did it again. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. We do appreciate it. We love you guys. This is our Creation Homestead. God bless you and goodbye.